this is Steph's Deluxe Kitchen. I'm Steph and this is my kitchen. So a lot of you have been following me on Facebook and liking the recipes that I've been posting, so I decided to start a vlog and actually post the recipes or show you videos of the recipes that I do, so that maybe you can follow along at home or you can watch clips of it and see. But the point of it is to find recipes that I like, which are usually low carb, gluten-free, sugar-free, keto style recipes. I want to see if they are easy to make and if they taste good. So if that interests you, please follow along and subscribe to my channel. And today I'm going to make lemon glaze cookies, and they are keto friendly, low carb, and gluten-free, sugar-free also. This recipe, I just wanted to show you some of the ingredients that I use. I use almond flour. I like this super fine almond flour when I do baking for cookies and stuff. It turns out really good. We're going to be using some baking soda, some pink Himalayan salt, some grass-fed butter, some, this is for the glaze. I like Swerve, but you can use whatever sweetener you like, and if you're not sugar-free, feel free to use regular sugar if you like. This is the Swerve confectioner sugar, the powdered sugar, and I also use granulated Swerve in the cookies. This is for the glaze. We're going to use a couple eggs, some vanilla, some lemon extract, and some lemons. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cream together your butter and your sugar. And this is a double batch recipe. It makes about not quite 24 cookies, but a little less than that. So the first thing you're going to do is have softened butter, and I use 4 tablespoons of butter, and it's already softened. So you're going to want to cream together your butter and your sugar. And your sugar, I use a 1/2 cup of Swerve, the granulated Swerve. Got a lot for mixture. You don't want it to go crazy. And then you just cream it for a while till it gets a good creamy consistency. Now, if you're not used to using Swerve or these artificial sweeteners, they don't dissolve as well as real sugar, so you have to give it a little bit. What you're going to do is mix all of your wet ingredients first, which would be your eggs and your extracts, your vanilla and your lemon extracts, along with the butter and the sugar. Okay, so now that the butter and the sugar are creamed together, you're going to want to add your eggs and your vanilla and your lemon extract. So I have 2 large eggs. I'm going to crack those and put those in. Unless you like crunchy cookies, I would not put the shells in there. Then you're going to put some vanilla. For this recipe, I use 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Because it's a double batch, if I make chocolate chip cookies, I'd probably add a little bit more than that. I like vanilla, and I've been told that anytime you make cookies, you always add vanilla. So that's another thing. I'm not a real baker or cook. I like to follow recipes and create stuff, so we'll see how it turns out. So then I add so that was 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of lemon extract. If you don't like your cookies very lemony, just do 1 teaspoon. These turn out pretty lemony. I like lemon. Then we're going to give that a little spin until it's all mixed together. can already smell the lemon in there. It smells pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to just give it a little scrape on the bottom to make sure that all the butter and the sugar is getting mixed in there pretty well. Okay, so now that your wet ingredients have been mixed together, you're going to add the dry ingredients. And so this, because again it's a double batch, I use 4 cups of the almond flour and a half a teaspoon of the salt, a half a teaspoon, no actually this is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. The entire recipe will be in the link so that you can print it off or you can copy it off. And then you're going to give that a little mix. So the dry ingredients are almond flour, the baking soda, and the salt. And if you don't have the lemon extract, again, you can use this recipe to make any kind of cookie. You can make chocolate chip, you can make coconut. It's a pretty basic keto, low carb, gluten-free cookie recipe. And almond flour mixes pretty well, not as well as regular flour with some recipes, but for this cookie recipe, I think it's the butter. It really mixes and makes a nice dough. So for this, because it's lemon, and I really like the taste of lemon in my lemon cookies, I add a little bit of zest. You don't have to do that if you don't like your cookies very lemony, but I do, and my family does, so that's what I do. So we're gonna put a little zest in the cookies. That's probably good. And then we're gonna use those lemons later when we make the glaze. We're going to give that a little swirl. All right, that looks about good. So before you start this recipe, or in the middle of it, you should preheat your oven to 350. And I like to bake my cookies on convection, is it called confectioner's bake or convection bake? That's what I bake everything on. But if you don't have that setting, just click bake. So while your oven is preheating, if you hadn't already preheated it before you started the recipe, this is what your dough should look like. Looks like pretty good cookie dough. So depending on the size of cookies that you want to make, I use this size scooper. You don't have to use a cookie scooper. You can just use a regular spoon if you want. And then I dollop them out like this. Whoop. Flying. And I don't leave them this shape. I flatten the cookies out into a cookie shape. I actually have never baked the cookie in this shape, so I couldn't even tell you what it would turn out like if you left it this way. So if you want to give it a try and let me know how it turns out, feel free to do that. This recipe is sort of, it's not a crunchy cookie by all means. I would say it's more of a cakey consistency, maybe a little more firm. So let's see. Oh, looks like it made just about that much. So then I go back and I just sort of flatten them into a cookie shape. I don't know why I do this. It could flatten out in the oven by itself, but again, I just do it this way. So, all right, looks like we have our cookies. So once you have your cookies laid out and your oven is up to temperature, then you're gonna put them in the oven for 9 to 11, 12 minutes, depending on your oven. My oven, I put it on about 9 minutes and 20 seconds just because. So while your cookies are baking, this is a good time to make the glaze. And the glaze is really simple. It's only a cup of powdered sugar. And again, I use the Swerve's confectioner sugar, powdered sugar. But you can, if you're not sugar-free, you can use regular powdered sugar or whatever sweetener you like best. I like the taste of this one, so I chose this. So with this recipe, it's 1 cup of the powdered sugar and however many lemons it takes to make a good glaze. Sometimes my lemons it takes 2, sometimes it takes 3. So what I like to do is give it a little rub down, just roll and roll and roll it until it gets kind of smushy in there, gets the juice flowing. And then if you have one of these handy dandy juicers, it works really good. If not, just squeeze it by hand. Try not to get any of the lemon seeds in there, obviously. So after each lemon that you squeeze, you're going to give it a stir to see how thin the glaze is. So after 1 lemon squeezed into the glaze, it's still a little thick to my liking. I like it a little thinner, so I'm going to start off with 1/2 of a lemon and see how that does. Get out the seed that I can see so far. I like it, I'll show you the consistency that I like, a little bit thinner, so I'm not going to squeeze the whole thing. I'm going to just stir this up and see how well it takes. And again, it's super simple. It's just sugar and juice from the lemon. So I think I'm liking this consistency, how it just sort of runs off the spoon. You see that? That's a pretty nice glaze. If you like it thinner, just add a smidge more. I think that's plenty. So you want to wait until your cookies are completely cool before you put this on, otherwise it'll turn into a runny mess all over. And our cookies are done. In my oven on convection bake, it was 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And it turned out like that. So this is what it looks like on the bottom, a little golden brown. So mine are cooled off already. And they're ready for the glaze. So these type of keto cookies are a little more cakey and delicate than your average chocolate chip or sugar cookie that you would use regular flour and all of that with. So I just start dolloping the glaze on top. I like to put just a little swirl. And these have a little bite to it. You know, it's got a lot of lemon flavor. So if you like a lot of lemon flavor, these are for you. I store these cookies in the fridge. I just think that they taste better cold, but you can store them however you want. And they last for about a week in the fridge, depending on how quickly people eat them. These are gluten-free, they are keto-friendly, they are sugar-free, and low-carb. I do typically the keto style recipes or the low carb, but I do not count macros or grams of anything, so I'm not going to tell you how many grams of carbs are in here or how much sugar is in here. If you want to calculate that, you can do that yourself. So it looks like a cup of sugar and 1.5 lemons was plenty for the glaze to cover all of these cookies. And that's it. That's our keto lemon glaze cookies. This is a base that you can use with chocolate chips, coconuts. If I make chocolate chip cookies, I like to use the Lily's chocolate chips. If you're not sugar-free or keto, you can use any kind of chocolate chips. If you're gluten-free, I think the Enjoy Life chocolate chips are the ones that you're going to want to use because they're gluten-free. So if you like my recipes, please subscribe and click the like button. I'll have a link to my Facebook page and Instagram so that you can see when my next videos are going to be uploaded. So thanks for joining Steph's Deluxe Kitchen. Again, I'm Steph and this is my kitchen.
Action.
Stop, because well, you have to say an action.
And action.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Steph. No, stop. See, I can't do it. Stop.